Devstream 180 has just finished and there are a lot of goodies coming in the near future of Warframe. We have a lot to unpack in this video, ranging from the new Warframe Jade to a new game mode, status reworks, Belly of the Beast, skins, augments, and so much more. Alright, let's get started. Firstly, of course, we start with Jade, the most important one. The new Warframe that is arriving in the Jade Shadows update on the 18th of June, so it's not too far from us. Now Jade, she's quite an interesting frame. We got a sneak peek into how she works, and let's just say, wow. Jade will be a support frame, and she also has 2 auras. This is the first time I've seen anything like this, and both will increase your capacity, which basically means Jade will be like a max 1 to 2 former for a min-max build. You could probably get away with no former for a cheaper build, to be very honest with you. So this is gonna be interesting, because she's now a very cheap frame to build. This is part of her passive. The other part of her passive is her first ability will prime enemies with her passive and increase the damage from all sources. This works hand in hand with her fourth ability. Her first ability creates a healing aura for yourself, but for enemies it will do damage over time. And of course, prime them with the passive. Her second is an aura that has multiple effects, and you can switch these while they are active without having to recast the ability, which is very, very nice. Because usually with abilities that have multiple auras or effects, you would have to recast the ability. This will allow you to do some really great synergies on the fly as you play, and it will be quite interactive as well, which is really nice. The third ability is literally Gloom, but with armor stripping. This is also her helmet ability, which is just disgusting because, yeah, the fact that you can slow enemies and armor strip them at the same time, it's pretty broken. But of course, we'll have to wait until she actually releases to see how strong this ability will be. Another cool thing is her third ability allows you to revive allies from afar. It's pretty handy. Her fourth makes you fly like Titania, and it makes use of her exalted weapon, which shoots out an explosive projectile. You can mark the enemies with her 1 and then use the alternate fire to explode the enemies, dealing large amounts of damage. So that's Jade summarized. She looks really, really good so far, but again, we're gonna have to wait until she releases. I do feel like her helmet is going to be very popular depending on how well it scales with stats. She also comes with 3 new weapons, which are called Evensong, which is a bow, Cantar, I have no idea how to say it, which is her secondary, and Harmony, which is her melee, which is a scythe. We now move on to the new game mode called Ascension. It's a pretty cool concept, I guess. It's literally just hijack with a twist. The video actually broke on stream, which is kind of funny, but they eventually got it fixed. Basically, you defend an orb in the middle of an elevator, you throw vials at it to keep it powered, while the elevator lifts you up, and then when you get to the top, you just extract. That's the whole game mode simplified. Nothing too crazy, but yeah. It also comes with a new Eximus unit type, which is pretty cool, I guess. Belly of the Beast is coming to Warframe as well, and Ordus will be making an appearance in Larunda Relay. He will be bringing us some goodies. When you play the clan operation game mode, you can hand in the resources you gain to Ordus, and he will be bringing us some really nice things like the Krios Signet, if you missed it, and a new ephemera, Arcanes, and a few other things as well. It's also a good time for you to get the Ballroom Simulacrum if you haven't got that yet. We also have a very sick looking hate skin, which just, wow, looks pretty sick. Ordus is also where you'll be able to buy Jade's parts. We now move on to the status rework section, which is something I think we're all incredibly intrigued about. Blast now does a secondary explosion after you apply the first proc after a short delay. The secondary blast will deal percentage of the damage you did when you applied the first blast proc. If you get to max stacks and kill an enemy, the secondary detonation will do a sum of all the damage and deal it out in an AoE. Magnetic is being changed as well, even though Pablo said it wasn't going to be. The damage scaling now applies to Overguard as well, which means Thrax killing and Eximus killing, which is just great. When you break the shields or Overguard, it now does a secondary stat and applies electricity. Cold is also being reworked. It will now go to 10 stacks and it will freeze enemies. This was discussed before, but because of this rework, Frost is now being reworked as well. Frost now has longer lasting cold procs from his abilities. His first has increased range and scales better with range as well. His globes will be changed so that you can now shoot in and out of the globes, which is honestly something people have been asking for a very long time apparently. His passive has been changed to him gaining armor based on how many cold procs nearby enemies are affected by. Damage vulnerability is also getting reworked. To summarize what Pablo was saying in this section, he's just basically saying that damage vulnerability is a lot more simple. So if you apply 100% more damage vulnerability, you'll deal 100% more damage compared to before, where it was a lot more technical and confusing. Regarding the enemy armor changes, basically corrosive will further their damage reduction more than before. That sounded funny, but you know what I mean. Before, 10 corrosive procs would drop to 65% damage reduction. When the update drops, it will be 40%. So there's not much more to say about that, but that's basically what's changed in terms of the armor changes. And that sums up all the status news so far. Skins. Lots and lots of skins. Yareli Deluxe. Honestly, it's a really cool looking skin. I do believe I will be getting the skin. I mean, I'm totally not a Yareli main. Anyway, more Tenogen. A skin for Equinox and Lavos, which is just really good looking skins, as well as a bunch of other attachments as well. And we then have augments. Yeah, Protea's augment is elite. Simply elite. I'm already in love with this augment. They actually showcased it for us, and wow. When Temporal Anchor is active, one of your turrets will follow you and will cap a 20x combo, which is honestly more than enough damage, especially if you pair it with Temporal Erosion, which will armor strip them. So yeah, that augment is broken. We also have an augment for Severghast, DuCaT, and Corvix. Rest in peace, Caliban. Unlucky, brother. Maybe next time. You can pause the video, take a squizzle, but honestly, Protea has won my heart here. There are new Deviri decrees as well, which are arriving, which I barely played Deviri, so yeah. New Arcanes. We have 5 new Arcanes that are coming, and yeah, these ones are quite interesting. Melee Affliction looks like it has some potential with some unique synergies. Ice Storm is going to be really good with Frost, and Secondary Fortifier is going to be interesting with Dante. We also have a bunch of UI changes coming to Warframe, like duplicating configs. When you put the wrong polarity slot in, it will now show you the right polarity underneath this, which is really handy, as before you'd have to unequip the mod to see the right polarity. The stats UI has changed slightly. It's a lot more clearer on the substats and explaining how the stats work as well. If you head on over to the ability section, we will be able to see the augments for each of the abilities instead of doing our long search for which augment is for each ability. This is quite a nice feature. Another cool feature coming is community fashion for the starter frames. Basically, you can steal fashion from other players in the community. It's quite a nice little feature for those of you that love fashion framing. With the new damage numbers, there is an issue with the clutter when it comes to a whole bunch of numbers covering the enemies on your screens. So we will be getting the donut numbers, meaning it'll move around the enemies instead of just covering the enemies in numbers, which is cool. I like that. Brand new players can now start with colors, and for the best quality of life feature being added, you can now change your entire loadout in the navigation tab. Full customization. Honestly, yes. Such a great addition, especially if you're playing with a group and doing multiple different mission types and you need to quickly change your loadout, change your frame. You will be able to do it all from the navigation tab, which is just, I can't wait for this. This is great. There are going to be a lot more changes coming. Here is a screenshot if you'd like to just pause the video and check it out. But I am most excited for the navigation loadout customization. That is, yeah. Ember is getting an heirloom collection. However, DE has changed how they're doing heirloom skins. They won't be locked behind a paywall. It will also be available via platinum. Just wow. This skin is yes. And that pretty much wraps up the dev stream. Soulframe is getting their first dev stream at TennoCon. They also showed the TennoCon schedule for those of you who are going, and we also got some more news about Soulframe. And that pretty much concludes dev stream 180. Quite an interesting one. I am very excited for Jade. She looks really fun, but we'll have to see on release, and that's all you need to know. Thank you so much for watching. Don't forget to leave a like and subscribe, and I'll see you all in the next one.